Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Archit Seshadri. Thanks so much for watching WION. World is One News. Let's take a look at the top stories making headlines in South Asia and around the world. First up, after a bitter campaign, the Shiv Sena and the BJP end up neck and neck in Mumbai. The BJP grows up by 150%, bagging 81 seats in the BMC polls. Congress scores just a dismal 31. In sports, India has Australia on the mat at the end of the day one in the series opener in Pune. A late Mitchell Johnson cameo takes Australia to 256 for 9. Well, to the twisted tales of the South, the Malayalam actress molestation case, the prime accused suspect, Sunil Kumar, now surrenders. Next to the nation's capital, where a campus brawl case has transferred to the crime branch after students' groups clash with police during protests in Delhi. Deadly blasts rock Pakistan. At least 7 people are killed and more than 30 are hurt after 2 separate blasts in the city of Lahore. Welcome, everyone. Today is Thursday, February the 23rd. Those stories shortly, but first we start with sports, where Mitchell Starc's heroics with the bat made sure that Australia managed to survive till the end of the first day's play in the Pune Test match against India. Australia's openers, Matt Renshaw and David Warner, put on 82 for the first wicket, which was a perfect platform on a dry wicket. But soon the poor shot selection let Australia down. After that, Umesh Yadav picked up 4 wickets, while the spinner Ravi Ashwin, Ravindra Jadeja and Jayant Yadav picked up 5 wickets just between themselves. Quite a match indeed. Well, Starc rescued Australia from 205 for 9 with a battling half-century. This after ending it 256 for 9.
Again, it's been interesting to see how Renshaw's trying to get down straight away for his first ever Test match.
All right, of course, all the wrap-up will be coming up in a few hours on WION Sports. But first, let's get a preview. We have Vijay joining us from the WION newsroom. Quite a match, quite a bit of action happening in Pune. Bring us up to speed, Vijay. How is everything looking for both teams going forward?
Well, if you offered Virat Kohli and Anil Kumble at the start of the day that Australia, after winning the toss, would be 256 for 9, they would grab it with both hands. But the sense I get is that India will be really feeling upset. They let Australia off the hook in a sense. You know, Australia were 205 for 9, but Mitchell Starc in a stand of 55 with the last man who scored just 1, simply slaughtered the bowling at the end of the day's play. So, but even at the end of it, India very much in the driver's seat. And Australia, Archit, have themselves to blame because they had the perfect platform, 82 for no loss. This despite the wicket being dry, everyone expected it to turn and there was going to be variable bounce. It happened, but Australia saw off with Renshaw and Warner playing very well. But if you look closely at the wickets which fell, Australia self-destructed. A lot of balls which got the wickets didn't do anything extraordinary. In fact, all of Ravindra Jadeja's wickets were one which actually didn't spin and went straight on.
All right, and Diggy, real quick, we talked about it earlier on, even the number of wickets that just sort of went downhill for Australia after the spinners. They picked up 5 wickets just between themselves, so a little bit of an upstart, but then quickly falling, favoring India, right? Quite a match.
Yes, absolutely. And I think Australia, when they look back, they will feel that they threw it away completely because a lot of the batsmen got starts. And we were talking about this on our show last night with our expert Shishir Hatangadi, that in India, when you get in, when you manage to see off that initial burst from the Indian spinners, you have to settle down and score big. That's something the Indian batsmen have done very well in the last 7 or 8 Test matches. We've seen it with Virat Kohli, Cheteshwar Pujara, Murli Vijay, Ajinkya Rahane, Karun Nair, that once you do the hard work, don't throw your wickets minutes away. Steve Smith, the Australian captain, will be kicking himself because he battled for about 96 balls, then danced down the track trying to hit Ashwin over the top and found Kohli. So that is the mistake which Australia made. They threw away the advantage.
All right, Diggy, thank you so much. Of course, much more on that later on this evening, right here on WION, of course, for more action and the detailed coverage with Shishir Hatangadi. Watch WION Sports weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Of course, we'll have all the highlights in just a few hours. All right, well, the other big story we're tracking for you this hour is out of Mumbai. The BMC election results are now out, and good news for the Shiv Sena. They had failed to get a clear majority despite demonetization. The BJP rather, showing its best performance in 20 years. But of course, Congress, they registered one of their worst performances in 20 decades. Mumbai Congress leader Sanjay Nirupam has offered to resign given what has happened. The BJP's Pankaj Munde, too, has also offered to step down from the position as the party fared pretty badly in the home district. All right, we will, of course, continue tracking all of these results when they get updated. And, of course, let's look at the big points, the major points emerging out of the BMC poll results. It is clear that the Shiv Sena has now failed to get the majority in the BMC polls. It'll have to go in for an alliance, despite what has happened with demonetization. Now, in this, it is the BJP's best ever show in the polls and the worst showing by Congress in 2 decades, giving a thumbs down to the MNS of Raj Thackeray.
Express the faith in transparency and development led by Devendra Fadnavis. Shiv Sena is working with us in Maharashtra, working with us in national level, and in Mumbai also. On our agenda, transparency and development, we wanted Shiv Sena with us, and now we wish all 227, including Shiv Sena, vote together.
देखिए बीएमसी का इलेक्शन जो हमने किया, जो और पार्टियों का जो रिजल्ट है वो अपनी जगह, लेकिन ये जीत डीमोनेटाइजेशन का जो हरकत सरकार ने किया है लोगों के खिलाफ, और वो रिजल्ट मुंबई जैसे शहर, फाइनेंशियल कैपिटल कहते हैं उसको, और वहां दिखाई दे रहा। तो ये आने वाले दिनों में और इलेक्शनों में डीमोनेटाइजेशन के खिलाफ जो भी पार्टी ऊंचे आवाज में लोगों के साथ जुड़कर बोलते हैं उनका जीत होगा।
Well, now to Uttar Pradesh, where polling closes in the 4th phase of the assembly elections. More than 55% of polling was recorded until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Voting took place at the Gandhi Bastions, Raebareli and Amethi, Allahabad, Jhansi, Bandham and Fatehpur among the others. 680 candidates were in the fray this time around, with the maximum number of 26 fighting from Allahabad North. In 2012 polls, out of the 53 seats, the Samajwadi Party had won 24, the BJP bagged 5, the BSP took 15, Congress got 6 and 3 went to the others. Now, the elections for the 403-seat UP Legislative Assembly are being held in 7 phases with 3 more to go. Those dates, the 27th of February, March the 4th and March the 8th. The counting of the votes will take place on March the 11th. Well, 3 days after Uttar Pradesh's Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav's donkey jibe at Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister turned around the joke and said he takes inspiration even from a donkey. Addressing a rally in Barech in poll-bound Uttar Pradesh, the Prime Minister said, quote, "I take inspiration from a donkey. Donkeys are loyal to their masters and fulfill their responsibilities." The Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister on Monday at Raebareli rally took a dig at Modi by asking megastar Amitabh Bachchan to stop promoting donkeys of Gujarat, a sarcastic reference to a tourism promo. The statement invited sharp criticism from the BJP leaders who said that they faced an imminent defeat in these elections.
आपको गधे का भी डर लगने लगता है क्या? अरे वो तो सैकड़ों किलोमीटर दूर है, आप इतने घबराते काहे हो? और मैं हैरान हूं, ये आपकी जातिवादी मानसिकता, ऊंच नीच का भाव देखने वाली मानसिकता, ये पशु में भी ऊंच और नीच का भाव देखने लग गई। गधा आपको इतना बुरा लगने लग गया, बहुत स्वाभाविक है।
Well, after another day of protests by students at the police headquarters, the case has now been transferred to the crime branch. Earlier in the day, after nearly 2 hours of protests, the Delhi police came out and engaged a dialogue with the protesters. The main points of contention that were raised were the demands for separate FIRs for the students who were assaulted, as well as answering the question of who ordered the charge on the students late last night. The tensions continue as the students and staff of Delhi University remain to sit in protest at the ITO police headquarters. Well, on the other big story that we're tracking this hour, United Spiritus is set to auction off its former owner and now fugitive tycoon Vijay Mallya's assets, including his palatial Mumbai residence Neeladri on the Nepean Sea Road. This after the USL's option to buy them at a discounted price expired just a few days back. The 13 properties across Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru, Kolkata, Scotland and Hong Kong are worth in total about $100 million or about 680 crore rupees. Neeladri alone is worth half of that value. Mallya, who had quit as the chairman with a controversial $75 million severance package last year, had gained a one-year option to buy the properties at a 10% discount to the market value. This lapsed back on the 21st of February. India's largest distiller, USL, is now in the process of informing Mallya, who is living in London since March of last year. It's about its plans to proceed with the auction. India, though, has sought to extradite Mallya. He is wanted in several cases relating to loan defaults that total 6,000 crore rupees, all of this after the collapse of Kingfisher Airlines. Well, as we mentioned, the absconding liquor baron Vijay Mallya is living it up, though. Mallya was seen at a Formula One event in the United Kingdom amidst talks of his extradition. Well, speaking at the event, Mallya said India has no grounds to extradite him from Britain, and he would not be leaving anytime soon. He also dismissed the charges against him of being a bank defaulter and said that not one single penny was misused. He's also been under Indian agencies' radar after he fled away to Britain without paying back the $1.4 billion money which he took as a loan from various banks. Recently, though, officials of India and the United Kingdom held that meeting seeking ways to bring him back as part of that extradition.
It all started with the failure of Kingfisher Airlines, which is a public company. The government-owned banks are trying to hold me personally responsible for the failure of India's largest airline and to repay their debts. I have a counterclaim on them as well. That is in the judicial system right now. But then, recovery of loans made to a PLC is a purely civil matter. The Central Bureau of Investigation, at the behest of the government, converted it into a criminal matter. and then charges of defrauding banks and money laundering appeared. I will and am severely contesting all this legally.
Vijay Mallya is now charged with conspiracy and fraud in the loan default case. The CBI has accused Mallya of diverting about 3 billion rupees from India intended for the Kingfisher Airlines. All right, now time for a quick short break. Many more stories to bring to you on the other side, including which city in India is noticing an Ola and Uber strike. We'll be right back here on WION. Welcome back. This is WION. Now moving on to other stories across India. More than 1 lakh Ola and Uber taxi drivers in the Indian city of Bengaluru have now gone on an indefinite strike. All of this for more demands for better incentives and higher pay. The ongoing protests took an ugly turn as many protesters engaged in vandalism. Passengers were moved out of the cabs in mid-journey at many locations during those rides. Angry drivers also ransacked Uber offices. Commuters bore the brunt, with many of them stranded and forced to look for other means of transportation. Now, since December, taxi drivers and services like Uber and Ola have been up in arms over various issues, from the incentives to the fares that they get. They have wanted for better service. They want those providers to adopt government fixed fares and scrapping the 30% commission per ride. Well, Uber has, of course, responded to this. Here's the statement. Let's bring that to you now. Quote, "We are sorry that our service has been disrupted in Bengaluru. We are aware of isolated reports of threats and intimidation from a small group of people. We again call on the authorities to put an end to this illegal behavior. We are committed to ensuring that drivers who wish to work are able to do so, and riders can get from A to B conveniently, reliably, and safely." End quote.
War between cab aggregators as well as the protesting drivers reached a flashpoint yesterday, with a few of the protesters pelting stones at the office of Uber services in Bengaluru. Now today, most of the cabs have chosen to stay off roads, heavily affecting the commuters. Bengaluru is one of the biggest markets for these cab aggregators, and the registered taxis have gone up from 53,000 in 2013 and 14 to 1,13,000, tilting the balance of demand and supply, thereby pinching the pockets of these cab drivers. While the cab drivers have gone on to claim that they will play the wait-and-watch game for the next 2 days and see if the aggregators agree to their demands of increasing their incentives as well as stopping to add more cabs in the fleet. On the other hand, the cab aggregators feel that it is only a small group of these disgruntled drivers who are causing problems. In Bengaluru, with video journalist Padmanabha Rao, Nishchita, WION.
All right, now to news from the state of Kerala. After remaining at large for more than a week now, the prime suspect in the case of the abduction and molestation of an actress, Sunil Kumar, has now surrendered before court. Kumar, who used to be the actress's former driver, along with another accused, came to the magistrate's room in Ernakulam to surrender, bringing relief to the Kerala police. They have faced a lot of criticism and taken heat for the case over the past few days. Kumar was hiding since the 19th of February, just 4 days back. Police are calling his surrender, though, a big breakthrough in the case. All right, now to Tamil Nadu politics. After moving the Madras High Court and taking part in that hunger strike, DMK party working president M.K. Stalin will now meet with President Pranab Mukherjee in New Delhi. According to party officials, Stalin will present his version of what took place at the Tamil Nadu Assembly during that floor test last weekend. Reports indicate the party is also expected to announce street meetings in all the districts after that meeting between Stalin and the President of India concludes. The DMK on Wednesday says a statewide hunger strike in Tamil Nadu will take place to protest against the appointment of the new Chief Minister, Palaniswamy. Well, Apollo hospitals in Chennai have now filed a reply petition in the Supreme Court regarding Jayalalitha's death back in December. They say that the former chief minister requested them not to release any photographs during her time in hospital. Now, this comes after a public interest litigation was filed by a Chennai-based NGO and that a writ petition was filed by the expelled ADMK MP Sashikala Pushpa in the Apex Court. Now, it was basically seeking a CBI probe or a judicial investigation into Jayalalitha's death. The former chief minister died in Chennai's Apollo Hospital on December the 5th. She was admitted on September the 22nd, originally with fever and dehydration. The reply given by Apollo Hospital states that they followed all the rules and regulations that are set by the Medical Council of India during Jayalalitha's treatment. Now, although Apollo Hospitals were to submit a full-fledged report, they've only filed a reply petition. The next hearing in the case will be next month on March the 13th. Well, moving on to other stories, the Enforcement Directorate is set to issue a non-bailable arrest warrant against Islamic preacher Zakir Naik. He's charged of laundering money through his Dongri-based charity Islamic Research Foundation. The move comes after Naik did not respond to the 3 summons issued by the Enforcement Directorate. The ED has now turned down Naik's offer of interrogating him via video conference, saying that Naik's physical presence is necessary to make headway in the probe. The official with the ED revealed that Naik, who controlled a number of trusts in India and abroad with his brother Mohammed Abdul Karim, Naik's help worked closely with Gazdar, who laundered the money on Naik's orders. Now, apart from that, Naik is also being probed by the NIA, the National Investigation Agency, for allegedly fomenting communal hatred. Kashmiri separatist group Hizbul Mujahideen has claimed responsibility of yet another terror attack on the Indian Army at the Shopian district of Jammu and Kashmir. This claimed many lives of the 5 army soldiers as well as a civilian on Thursday. Apart from those killed, 6 people of the 44 Rashtriya Rifles were also hurt in that attack. An army convoy was returning from an anti-terror operation at Chitragam late Wednesday night when heavily armed terrorists attacked. The ambush took place at around 2 in the morning, where an old woman was killed in crossfire. The search operation was carried out in the Kamnu in Shopian by the army as well as the police. The attack comes just 3 days when 1 terrorist was killed by security forces in the Keri sector of Rajouri in Jammu and Kashmir. Well, and yet another consolidation move in the telecom industry. India's largest telecom operator, Bharti Airtel, informed the bourses on Thursday that it will acquire Telenor India assets. The move comes at a time when the new entrant, Reliance Jio, has now acquired more than 100 million users, and the market is waiting for a response on a potential Vodafone-Idea merger. Airtel, though, did not reveal the financials of the Telenor India acquisition in its filing with the Bombay Stock Exchange. But their stock surged to new heights and went up by 10% ever since the announcements were made. All right, that is our bulletin for right now. Don't forget you can track all of our stories in our digital, mobile, and social media platforms. News and updates continue on the other side. I'm Archit Seshadri. Have a good evening.